Welcome back. This is TurboCharge Your Business on the #1 global business talk and news network on the internet, IBGR, International Business Growth Radio. I'm Patty Lawrence. This is episode 24, Capital Planning, Products and Services. Be sure to go to our website at ibgr.network and download the show notes. So, why do we have capital planning for products and services as a separate category? Well, the main reason we do that is because it's a specific kind of growth capital. And it's really related, if you really get down to it, especially in the product category, it's new product development. And that really has a life of its own. It usually has a whole team of its own. You've got a lot of people doing research on, the environment and trends and what are the consumers, it's a lot of consumer research. What are consumers looking to buy? What problem are they looking to solve? What are the things that are going to make their life easier? So those types of things are the things that are typically the new products coming down the pike. And by the way, those are usually developed by companies as their next generation of, it's tech driven, right? There's a better, faster, more effective, more efficient, you name it. It's good, better, best, right? It's better than the one before. So how do we up level the performance of said widget? Or how do we disrupt the market and come up with something brand spanking new? That is the category we're talking about right now, the category of capital. And this is a hard one to come up with because a lot of companies spend, years and millions of dollars trying to innovate, throwing money. You hear a lot about the failure, then the aha, we've got it. Eureka, we've invented it. Right? But you didn't hear about the previous failures, failed attempts and millions of dollars sunk into it that didn't pan out. So new product development is a special category because it's a risky area. And it's typically very intentional with the company. So very aligned with mission. It's in the strategic plan. We are going down this path because it gets us to wherever we want to be. This is getting us there. So it's in our strategic plan. It's part of who we are as a company, and we are willing to put the money in and put the risk in. We understand the risk. We're going to put our money in developing these new products so that we, corner the market. We take more market share. We do this. We're #1 in, pick a category. Whatever that is, it aligns with our strategic plan. So what does that look like? Well, it looks like a bunch of financial analysis is what it looks like. So there are a lot of financial what-if scenarios that go into putting together some capital expenditures for new product development. And new product development, the time horizon on these are typically pretty darn long. So if you think about going from research to prototyping to, we have something that we believe is commercially viable to getting it out in the marketplace, that can take multiple years. And what happens is you have to get back and answer a handful of questions as you put together, what is this new thing that we're going to corner the market with? What is this new product we're going to bring to, this new widget that we're going to bring to every household? First of all, we got to understand total cost. And, that tends to be the $64,000 question that has an answer that kind of is moving around. It's a moving target. So total project cost, what is that? Well, how much are we going to need to really achieve the end game? End game meaning a commercially viable product. So that's one of the questions that needs answered. Second one is the price that the user or consumer will pay. What price is the consumer or user willing to pay for this particular item? So look at a phone, right? So phones start out really mobile phones. Cell phones start out very, very expensive. Now they're not. Well, they have expensive versions, but you can get some cheap versions. They're in the dumb phone category, not the smartphone, but the dumb phone. They don't do much, but but when they first came out, they didn't do much either, and they were very expensive. So, how much are people willing to spend on that specific item that you're trying to develop? What's the competitive landscape? Is there nobody in the market? This is going to be brand spanking new, or are you in a race to, a competitive race to get this out to market? How many other companies are out there developing the same thing or similar? What is the estimated cost and margin that you can expect? So what's going to be the cost to produce? And then what is going to be based on your sell price? What are people going to, want to pay for this? What's going to be your margin? Because your margin is really what pays the bills. How many of those can you sell each year? That's really important. Like if you can only sell two, wow. And you made all this investment, that's not very good return, right? What is the demand for, or can you create demand? Do you need additional marketing dollars, right, behind your launch? That's a whole nother issue, right? We're talking capital planning. I didn't even talk about that launch. That's in your P&L budget, by the way. And then how long are you going to have to wait to get your investment back? Or is it going to be are you even going to get back at all? Is it going to be a dud? Well, nobody invests in things to be a dud, right? Everybody has a belief that there's going to be some level of success in the marketplace with the product that you're developing. So nobody goes and spends millions and millions and millions of dollars into a project, or tens of thousands of dollars, depending on the size of your project, depending on the size of your company, only to walk away from it. So what does that ROI timeline look like? How long do you have to wait to get back your investment, to recoup that investment? So some of these expenses can be, especially if it's labor costs, are classified as a research and development if it's early on, until the company can prove that the product will become commercially viable. And that's a big one. So that's accounting, that's GAAP accounting. But what you do is you're able to, segregate those costs and track them separately so that you know how much you're investing. You want to know how much you're investing in that because you want to be able to calculate your return on investment eventually, because it may take a few years, but you want to be able to say, yes, we've not only recouped our investment, but we've made money on it. We've made a return on our investment. One for $1, not so great, right? So you've just recouped your investment. You want to make a return. So you want to make more, you want to make a profit on whatever money you put into it. One other area that I didn't mention, I think I mentioned it earlier in maybe the growth segment, is that these kind of products can also come into your company via an acquisition. So if you're thinking about acquiring another company that has a technology or a product that would enhance your company's offerings, that could be something to look at. That could be an area that gets you a little bit further into the marketplace, or it gives you a wider audience, or uh, it gives you access to a new audience. So, whatever that is, don't discount the fact that somebody else may already be developing something and you may be able to buy it, acquire it, instead of having to develop it in house. Thanks for tuning in today to our show. Next week, our theme is budgeting for your business, where we'll cover what the heck is it? Why do we do it anyway? How do we do it? And what do we do with it once we have one? Check out my collection of free resources at turboexecs.com/turbocharge. And you can continue the conversation with me, Patty Lawrence, on LinkedIn. Thanks for tuning in to Turbocharge Your Business and Capital Planning Products and Services on the IBGR Network. I'm Patty Lawrence. See you next time.